usually, and this won't be all women listening, but women who are strong on their male side did not, some are strong because they had fathers who were very strong on their male side, but others is they had absent fathers, fathers who were not emotionally available. And therefore, they have this feeling inside that I have to earn love because daddy didn't love me. So I have to earn daddy's love to get it. And so they're looking for a man subconsciously that is unavailable, that they're going to get that guy to love them. So this is where
It's back to the earning the love thing too, right?
It comes back to the earning the love thing. So one is just, let's say you're just psychologically healthy in every way. You still don't understand why you don't have to earn love, because men do need to earn love. I mean, you're not just going to love some guy who doesn't do anything for you. So when he does things for you, you feel love. So you assume if I do things for him, he'll feel love, and he will,
Right.
but he'll like it. But it's not bonding love. Men bond with you. They become better. They become more motivated. They stay more engaged when they feel I'm providing something of value and I'm being appreciated for it. And that's the key. So if you're doing all the giving, and it's ironic that everybody thinks the female side of us is the giving part, because mothers are all about giving, but mothers are the CEO of the house. It's a completely masculine side of them to have children. It's just that having a child gives you unconditional love. And therefore, that receiving that unconditional love is the feminine part of it. It fills you up. You just feel so much love from this child that now you can go to your male side and take care of them, be responsible for them, or so forth. And that's one of the challenges for, single women when they're raising children. If they don't have a man in their life giving to them, then they can be too needy with their children. They can be too demanding with their children, and they can't give unconditionally as the child gives unconditionally to her. So what it comes back to is married couples, and I'll just say marriage, but it could be people, but the statistics look at married couples and they say they're healthier and they live longer and they're happier. That's the statistics, self-reported, but also actual scientific data showing that they live longer and that they're healthier. There's so many benefits of having a companion in your life. And one of the number one causes of sickness and aging is loneliness. That's what we're saying today. The research is showing that it's a big, big issue. And, in our other talks and what we talked about in Beyond Mars and Venus, we won't talk that much about it now, but it's hormonal. It's all well-being in women happens when there's a healthy balance between their male hormones and their female hormones. And generally speaking, and this is before you're over 50, but before that, women need to be making about 10 times more estrogen than men, and they're happy. Men need to be making 10 times more testosterone than women. Otherwise, these men are not happy. So there's kind of like normal happy level where men are 10 times more testosterone, women are 10 times more estrogen. And when women feel supported, where you're depending on someone for something that makes you feel loved and supported, appreciated, valued, and so forth, when you're depending on someone for that kind of support, if you're a man, your testosterone goes up. If you're a woman, your estrogen goes up. And the key, I try to come back to the importance of monogamous relationship where there's commitment. Instinctively, so many women more than men talk about the importance of commitment. It's a natural wisdom that women have. And I've tried to define, besides the practicality, a commitment means that you don't have to keep starting over. You can build something together. That's all very logical. But on an emotional level, a man who's committed to you is making you more important than anybody else. You get to feel special. There's something about feeling special. It's like when a man brings you flowers, you feel, oh, it's special. He does something out of the ordinary, special. He thinks of something you like and provides that. You feel special. Now, the challenge is, and that's kind of the early stages of courting, he'll do lots of little things and you will feel special and become more attracted to him. But he's not going to keep doing all those little things, okay? Because in his mind, and this is to help women when they reflect back to relationships that didn't work out, he's doing these little things and you end up feeling special. You feel more attracted. He feels more attracted to you. Then once the relationship becomes more committed, he thinks now I don't have to do those little things. And now I'm going to do the big stuff. I'm going to go have a job, or I'm going to work hard, and big stuff. Whereas you can do big stuff occasionally, like on anniversaries and birthdays, I do something really big. But other than that, my wife, it gets to feel special because every day I'm doing little things that say she's important to me. The most important thing, of course, is the idea of marriage, which is monogamy. She's a priority. And a priority is somebody that you are excited to please. And sometimes you're not in the mood to be excited or whatever, and couples sort of get into this comfort zone. So I have one biohack that I talk about to raise her estrogen, which is even more important as you're over 50, because naturally your estrogen levels will drop and your testosterone levels will go higher. That's your competence level. More life experience raises your testosterone. And that means you depend on others less. And so your estrogen levels naturally go down. So that's psychologically, they naturally go down. But physiologically, you can't make as much estrogen after your eggs are done. Okay, so menopause has happened. You're not going to make as much estrogen. So you have to be even more conscious of ways to keep your estrogen to its healthy level for that age. It doesn't need to be as high to be healthy. It just needs to be in balance with the testosterone. Because the whole thing is the balance. When your testosterone's too high, your estrogen too low, then you're stressed. And we know this. When women are stressed, their testosterone levels are always, at least their estrogen is too low, and usually her estrogen is low and her testosterone is too high. So we can look at this hormonally. It fits. We can look at it psychologically. If you're on your female side more or in balance with your male side, then you're happy and fulfilled. And by having a man in your life, somebody who's happy to do things for you because you appreciate it. He's happy to do things for you. Means you don't have to do all those things for yourself. When you have to do things for yourself, you're on your male side. And I'll put this all the way to, the sexual level. When you've got your vibrator and you're taking care of your sexual needs that way, you're missing out. And each time you do it, you're disconnecting from your female side. You're being the man. You're doing everything for yourself. And the same thing when you have disappointments from a man from the past, you feel like it's common sense. Just don't depend on others. Things get done if you do it yourself. It's a lesson you have to learn in life. That's as some people, if they're jaded, you got to do everything yourself. Now, I'm still, see the logic of that. To get on your female side, what you have to do is find a man and have a man find you, the right man, and motivate him to do things for you. Just like if I had employees in my office, I have to pay them. Well, what's the payment to a man? Is that you give him a job that he can do that's not beyond his capabilities, and you reward him for it appropriately. So one of the biohacks I was mentioning is asking men to do things within a window that will take 5 minutes. Okay, so no man will resist doing something for you if it only takes 5 minutes. And women often, particularly confident women in personal relationships, they don't want to sort of ask for something like showing I need help, or help would make me feel better. So to break that pattern, you say to your partner, okay, 3 times this week or every day this week, if you're married together, whatever, I want to do this little exercise I read in a book, which breaks me from my habit of feeling I have to do everything all the time. Because this is very common for women. I'm overwhelmed. I have so much to do. I have so much to do.
Yes,
So
it is so common.
It's like a snowball going down the hill, and it gets bigger and bigger. So what we have to do is, what's helpful is a pattern interrupt. You just stop the snowball, and then it doesn't keep rolling. You just have to stop it, and you don't have to stop it for 5 minutes. It will stop. Your brain shifts. And so what it looks like is, you raise your hand, you get the signal. This is going to do, this means I'm going to ask you to do something that only takes less than 5 minutes. I'm going to ask, and I could do it myself. It's not like something I don't have time to do, something I can't do. No, it's more personal. I'm going to ask you to do something for me. and I could do it for me, but I'm asking you to do it. And I got this idea because if you look at some of the essence of romance, it's the man opens the car door. Of course, she can open the car door. I remember telling my wife one time in the beginning where she says, I can do that. I said, honey, of course you can open the car door. It says, you give so much to me and to our family. Let me do that for you. tonight, let me take care of everything. And it feels sweet. It's a
Oh,
very,
yeah. It feels good just to hear you say that. Feels so good.
just feels so good. And I'm happy to do it. Well, part of what kills the romance in relationships is often if a man's doing something and you want him to do something else, he's not suddenly going, oh, I'm happy to do something else. He's sort of rigid. He's sort of hyper focused on one thing. And you can sense it. So you don't even ask for help when you actually do need it. But this is training him to be able to shift in an instant. Because if you say it's only going to be less than 5 minutes, it's going to help me be happier and I'll appreciate it, you have to set it up. And then what his job is, you explain his job is when do this, he's going to, 5 minutes, happy to be there. Because it's only 5 minutes. Now, I've talked to thousands of people, and if it's set up, I've never had a man say, I won't give her 5 minutes anytime she wants. And what that does is it gives her this feeling of, I can ask for what I want whenever I want it. Because that's part of a relationship, is to feel that somebody is always there for you. You're never alone. Okay, you've got somebody you can reach out to if you need help. And even if you need a little help, which is do something I could do for myself, but it will feel good to not have to do it myself. I can do it myself. That's why taking her to the restaurant. The restaurant, she can cook food. She doesn't have to cook food. She doesn't have to wash dishes that together or to whatever. Don't have to clean up the hotel room. It's all being done for you. That's why these are the places where romance often thrives, one of the places. And it's because somebody else is doing something for you that you can normally do for yourself, but you don't have to. So you're taking yourself out of the mode of Superwoman. I have to, and there's too much to do. And you shift that snowball from going down the hill into, well, here's something I don't have to do. Something that'll be nice that I don't have to do. And so it looks like foot massage. It looks like cleaning up the kitchen. It looks like making me a cup of tea. It makes me, the later one she's showing she'll say, would you before we're going to bed, she said, would you get me a glass of warm water? I say, sure, happy to do it right away. But she waits till I'm already in bed sometimes just to test it out. And I recognize, I know this is like a little thing that scores big, makes a woman feel special, as opposed to some person you have to always sort of earn their love. No, and you have to do something first for them to do that. And you have to only ask at the right time. It's like a freedom to have in a relationship, and it doesn't take a lot. So that's one of the simple hacks. Another one is 2 hands up, which you don't always have to put 2 hands up, but it means I need your attention for 10 minutes. Okay. If you say to a man, I just need your attention for 10 minutes, and you just set it up. I love you. I know you love me. And sometimes I just want to feel more connected to you. And it's okay if you don't want to talk, if you don't want to say anything. I just want to talk for 10 minutes and I'll feel connected to you. And that would be awkward unless we understand that men and women are different. He doesn't need that, generally speaking. But what it does, it raises estrogen. It will always raise estrogen. If you talk and say what you're feeling, it's even more. You can talk about what's going on in your life today. Here's an update on my day, and don't even wait for him to ask. Okay. You can just say, oh, so glad you're here today. This happened, and kind of a little bit of report and express a little feeling. What draws a man in, because men typically are not interested in those things, the mundane things of the day. If there's a problem, he'll get interested. Let me solve it. But it's important just to be able to talk about what you're feeling, what we call small talk. Women are very good at small talk. Generally, men aren't. And therefore, communication stops. And then she has to try to get him to talk, as opposed to, he doesn't need to talk. He doesn't need more estrogen. Generally, men need more testosterone. And one of the challenges, again, is when women don't understand that men are different, and this is particularly men over 50, naturally their estrogen levels are higher. And naturally their testosterone levels are lower, unless they're practicing these skills that I'm teaching. Mine at 70, I'm just 73 now, are 50% higher than when I was a young man, because I practice these skills. One of the basic skills is I don't complain. I don't complain out loud. And if I do it with my male friends and more as a joke. Okay. I don't complain about situations to my wife. And women, like, They see you a little stressed, and they want to get you talking, and then they want to get you asking.
Because that's what feels good to us.
It's what feels good to you. If you can just share what's going on without somebody interrupting, oh my gosh, because talking about problems, talking about your feelings, positive or negative, will always raise estrogen to higher levels, and it feels good. Now, men don't need more estrogen, generally speaking. We need more testosterone. And the older we get, we have too much estrogen. So we don't want to encourage that. What we want to encourage is him having more testosterone. And think of testosterone as like, a Zen master who never complains about anything. His testosterone levels will be off the chart. Qigong masters. Sometimes I watch Chinese movies. I teach a lot in China. And the heroes never complain about anything. They're super, they're masters, and they use their kung fu to protect everybody, but they're never aggressive with it where they'd start a fight. They just protect people. It's the best of masculinity is you don't whine, you don't complain. And yet we're sort of conditioned that we're all supposed to talk about feelings. And most men who are single at 50, they've been with some woman who's been trying to get him to talk about his feelings. It's such a fresh breath of fresh air when a woman is not trying to dig into a man, trying to go into him to know what he feels, but to let him go into you. He penetrates you. You open up a little bit more by sharing more of what's going on inside of you. So that's another key factor. But how do you feel appreciation for a man if he's not doing things for you? Your tendency is to then try to earn some love, and then you think he'll be through reciprocity, he'll do things for you. But when you do a lot for a man, the message he gets is, oh, I must have already done enough. See, it's the flip side. I do something for a woman. She has like a gene that says, oh, now I have to do something for you. Let me do more for you. You did all this for me. Let me do that for you. And that is healthy. That means my female side, my need was met. Now I can go to my male side. The dysfunctional aspect of women is when they go to their male side and their female side has not been supported. So rather than I give to get, I receive and I give back. That's the female polarity, the healthy female polarity. I receive so much, now I have the energy to give, as opposed to I'm so empty, I need somebody to fill me up, so I'm going to go earn it. That's healthy for men. For men, we have to go out and earn it. If earning builds testosterone, not having to earn, but receiving. But what if he's not giving? What do? You ask.
Yeah, what do you do?
You have to ask. That's a whole thing. It's an art that women have never had to learn because they already picked the man. They already knew this man could make money. How much, what level man can I get? And usually the parents would arrange it. Even today in parts of the world, you can't even date a man unless the parents approve his income. It's very practical, that practical level. So you picked a man as a woman who has already been taught by our society. What you do for women is you don't get angry, you have manners, and you earn money and you provide for them. There was never a big talk on sharing your feelings and talking about your feelings. There was just don't get angry and don't, it's like never go to bed angry. That was the old fashioned saying. Now, many times you can go to bed angry. That's unrealistic. If you're angry, but you be nice about it. And so we have things, you as a man, what you do is you practice ways of managing your anger in a healthy way. The way you practice managing is never talk when you're angry. The reason couples end up going to bed angry is because he talked too much when he was angry. See, if a woman is angry and she can talk, not that this is something I'm encouraging women to do, but if you're angry and you're talking and you're raising your voice or whatever, what's happening, if he doesn't get angry back, you'll feel better right away. You'll have nothing left to say. Just sitting there, okay, tell me more. Help me understand this better. Tell me what else. You'll calm down. There won't be an argument. It takes two people to have an argument. It's when a woman is angry, upset, or dissatisfied, or disappointed, or unhappy with him, some kind of complaint comes out of her, then suddenly he'll have a complaint. And then that's his sort of defense, a foolish defense, which is, she says, you're never here on time. He says, well, yesterday you weren't here on time. And as soon as he complains back, his estrogen goes up, his testosterone goes down, and he's in a stressed state. This is all very well known. It's the fight or flight state. Whenever a man has low testosterone and high estrogen, he's in fight or flight. He either wants to pull away or he wants to be aggressive and fight. And the more he fights using his words by talking and being mad or being argumentative, all that time his estrogen levels are going up and it's a losing battle, so his testosterone is going down. Because anytime a man raises his voice to a woman, her heart will begin to shut down. Her ability to feed him the love that he needs. You certainly don't appreciate a man who yells or gets angry. You can't trust a man. You can't feel safe with a man if he's being angry. And you can't accept a man. So the basic three needs that men always need to bump up their testosterone is feeling they're trusted, feeling they're accepted, and feeling they're appreciated. Appreciation is asking him to do little things for you helps to stimulate appreciation. And as it's increasing, you can also begin noticing the ways that you're glad that he's in your life, which is why I mentioned why you need a man. You know, the hugs is a key thing. I remember why I love the hug so much was one time I'm hugging my wife and she was like upset about something, a little grumpy at me. And so I went, let me give you a hug, honey. And the first 5 seconds, she was like resisting it. In the last 2 or 3 seconds, she softened. And then afterwards, she said to me, she said, you know, the hug was amazing. When you started, I didn't want to hug you. And I was thinking about you didn't do this and you didn't do that. And after a few seconds, then I started remembering all the good things you do. And I was happy again. This was like 8 seconds. This was not, it's just simply, she feels her resistance and then can let it go if physical touch is there. And physical touch, non-sexual physical touch, and also for him to do touching things. And in a sense, she has a need. He offers to help. But even more powerful is not feeling powerless, waiting for a man to satisfy your doubts or whatever, is to have these little games to play. Okay, 5 minutes. I want you to do this, you know. And he says, right away, just like he's a maitre d' at the best restaurant in town, and Dr. Gray comes in, we got a special seat for you. The chef's got, you know, a special free hors d'oeuvre for you. You know, treat her like a princess, a queen, and it's just 5 minutes. And it goes a long way with women. And men just don't know that. That's the point. That's an easy thing to do. And when he does it and she appreciates it, then he feels more love for her. That's how men bond, is when they can provide for a woman something she needs. And for the woman who is afraid to ask for help, afraid to share her vulnerability with a man, and it's because she's afraid that he will think less of her. And part of that on a practical level is she thinks he will think less of her because when a man was to do that, she will think less of him. In the beginning, it's sweet. He shared his feelings, what's making him unhappy. And then after a while, you go, wait a second, you know, I don't want to be his mother. So many times women end up losing sexual attraction for their partners. They feel like, I'm his mother. You can't have a sexual attraction for your children. And he loses attraction for you if you're behaving like his mother or feeling like you're his mother. And, you know, with your children, you don't resent your children as long as you're getting support from life. You know, you want to pour unconditionally to them. But and you're giving to them unconditionally. But when you're giving to a man unconditionally, you're going to feel resentful. There has to be this reciprocity where when you're fulfilling his needs, he needs to be fulfilling your needs. And if you're not needing him financially, then you have to realize, well, what do I need him for? And that's where Maslow's theory of hierarchy of needs comes in, is that when your lower needs for survival and security are being met, you can do that yourself. Then your next highest need is to be in relationship where you don't have to do everything. Somebody's doing things for you. And that's for women. For men, I'm in a relationship where I can do things for her successfully and she feels personally fulfilled through my actions. And that's having a committed relationship.